I'm gonna call the meeting to order. In the name of the state of Maine, you are hereby required to notify and warn the inhabitants of the town of Newburgh in said county and state qualified by law to vote in town affairs to meet at the Newburgh Elementary School building in said town on Monday, the 2nd day of October, 2023 at 6 p.m. Then to act on Articles 1 and 2. Article 1, to elect a moderator by written ballot to preside at said meeting.
Would you like?
Do I have any nominations?
I nominate Steve Wagner.
Second.
Okay, any other nominations? So, I need people to vote on a paper ballot,
At least two.
at least two. So, there, I got four. Anybody?
You just read the exact words that were in one of those books.
Really?
Exact words.
It has been lingering for a long time.
Nothing has changed.
Stephen White.
Right on the chart.
Is that a PH or a D?
It's a PH.
Good man.
If you're wrong, it's your fault.
Sorry, wouldn't be the first time.
Where do you want?
Thank you.
The first biggest one is when I said yes to this job.
Thank you.
I didn't think of that. Awesome.
So I have Stephen, and Stephen. Okay. You want to raise your right hand? Do you, Stephen Wagner, swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States of this state so long as you shall continue a citizen thereof, so help you God?
Nice.
Do you, Stephen Wagner, swear you will faithfully discharge to the best of your abilities the duties incumbent on you as moderator of this meeting according to the Constitution and laws of the state?
I do.
All right. Sign right there. Yeah, Stephen's gonna take over.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me all right if I'm sitting down? Excellent. Tonight we have one article of business. Before I turn to that, just some house rules. In order to be recognized, I'd ask that you let me recognize you and then direct your comments to me. I'm going to moderate tonight's meeting in accordance with the Maine Moderator's Manual, 7th edition, 2021. So I'll now read the article number 2. To see if the town will vote to allow the select board to sell and dispose of the old fire department property. Do I have a motion to pass Article 2 as written?
Make a motion, we pass Article 2 as mentioned.
Second.
Okay, there has been a motion and a second to pass Article 2 as written. Any discussion on this item? You, sir?
Nico Nelson. Sir, we're concerned on Newburgh Road that if certain businesses or certain establishments are allowed to be set up, to be established, if the town sells it, that it may adversely affect property values on Newburgh Road, such as a dumpster roll-off, a car dump, so on and so forth. So that's the concern of many of us living on that road. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any additional comments or questions from the audience or anybody here present? I should have also started, was there any sponsor from the select board or town manager wanting to speak to this item at all?
Just that maintaining that property would be very costly for us, for your taxpayers. I can understand your concerns, but at the same time, fiscally, it's not a very good thing for us to keep it. I'll say it like that. The building is just beyond anything. We got an estimate to demolish it, it would cost money for that, you know, the whole thing, so that's kind of where we're sitting from.
Yeah, I understand.
Thank you. Any additional comments from the floor? Thank you, sir. We're first. Okay, he's passing it to you, ma'am.
If that property is sold, where does that money go?
Sure. Can I direct that question to the select board?
You can direct it to.
Or
So the plan is if it's sold, that money would go into an account and then the board is gonna come back and ask the people to spend that, to do improvements to this parking lot.
Shouldn't that money go to the fire department? Because it was the fire department, and the fire department raised the money to build that building and maintain it for many years.
Well, the town maintained all the property, the building, and paid all the bills there for years and years and years. They were a private corporation, but the town paid all their bills.
But I believe that the auxiliary raised a lot of money to put that building up.
The original
My
one?
husband was fire
was
chief.
the original
at
The
time.
original
Sorry.
one, I'm sure you're right.
Sorry, I don't want to get too much into back and forth. Can I just go to you and then I'll turn to the select board again? So you want to finish your comment on that? No?
Just that the auxiliary at the time raised, they did a lot of fundraising and raised a lot of money to put that building up. That wasn't tax-paying dollars to put that building up. My husband was fire chief at the time and built that building.
What year was that, Diane? 1970?
I can't remember, Renee.
But after the building was erected, the town has, the citizens of the Newburgh, the taxpayers, have maintained the building, paid all the bills, taken care of the trucks and everything else. So that's why that's how I feel about that. The
I
town,
would like to see
you
the fire
taxpayers
department.
have put a lot of your money into, have paid all the bills for that for years and years and years. I'm sure you are right, that they raised money and when they put the building up in the 70s, I'm sure that was correct. But since then, the town has been paying for everything.
Thank you, Councilor
I just would like to
O'Donnell.
see some of that money go to the
Sure.
fire department.
Thank you. So we've had a comment, a response from Councilor O'Donnell, Select Board Member O'Donnell. Any further response from the Select Board in terms of that
I believe
comment?
half of that lot used to be the old town office also.
You're right.
Also.
Any further comments? I think, sorry, you, sir, had your hand raised before.
So you mentioned demo. Was that just a one-person price? Was there,
I just got an estimate from somebody to give us an idea.
If we were gonna go ahead with it, we'd definitely put it out to bid. It wouldn't
Right,
be,
right. We
we're just
just-
gonna go with somebody and it would go out to bid.
I did it just to get an idea of what we were looking at for costs.
Well, I think you, sir, had your hand, and then we'll go to Beth.
Yeah, I'm just curious what the title situation is in that it was comprised of two separate lots and as he referred to a minute ago, the original lot, the one to the west was the old town hall and the hearse house and oftentimes, as with the old school lots, those were given from an existing piece of land, a large piece of land. And often with a clause that if it was no longer being used as the school, or in this case, the town hall, I don't know that there'd be something that would take place. And what we know
Manager
about
Grant, you have to.
So the reason that we came back the second time was in order to find out the legal description of that land, we have to pay an attorney to do the research. And the board didn't want to pay to do that research if we weren't going to be able to sell it. So that's why we're doing tonight.
So that,
We don't know.
that's an unanswered question at this point, yeah.
Right.
Which if
Part of it
there's
I
not-
have a deed to. I haven't been able to find anything on the rest of it.
There's a question in the back, I believe.
What was the, what was the cost of the demolition? So that's my first part, and then the second part would be, we thought of like doing a veterans park to honor our veterans in the town. I know there's some grant funding out there for projects like that.
The, can I respond?
Absolutely.
The estimate was just under, it was for $27,500 to demo it and haul it off. I don't know anything about a veterans park though. You know.
It's just we were gonna do the
Right.
corner stone out here.
We had gotten some estimates at one point on some granite for out here to do a veterans memorial, you know, here on the municipal site, so.
You, sir?
So back to the demolition thing. So would the building have to be demolished? Would the building have to go in order to sell the land?
No. Well, as long as we,
Disclose everything that's wrong with it that we're aware of.
But obviously whoever buys it is gonna have to be demoed anyways, because there's no saving it. There's
That's-
nothing
that's-
there.
That'd be up to them.
that would be up to them, yes.
So in lieu of that, the $27,000 to demo the building so that there's no liability there and we don't have to worry about anything in the future. And then let the cards fall where they may as far as that land goes, because they're not making any more land, and unless we take some for taxes, I don't believe that we're gonna buy any more land. Granted, we've got this land here that we have now, but at the same time, to put another set of buildings on, because the ball field is off limits and the ice skating rink and other areas here, I mean, it's pretty tight out here now with the fire department as far as accessibility to events here, and I'm just thinking future projects down the road that may need a piece of land with another building for town purposes. And I know I've said it before, but like a municipality where we plow the roads, and I understand that it's not in the budget, but that doesn't mean in 20 years that it may not be. You know, and it might be more feasible, especially where next year the plowing contract is gonna go out to bid, and I'm sure that the prices that are gonna happen, people are gonna be in sticker shock over, because things have certainly changed, and in the realm of upkeep of the town and the roads and all that goes on, I mean, I don't know, I think it would be a good idea to hang on to the land to see if it's needed in the future for town use, because it's a pretty limited piece of land as to what anybody could be able to do on it anyways. That's just my personal opinion. I try to see ahead, you know, to think of these things, but as far as to putting in a garage or something for that nature on the land that's here, I don't know if that would even be a plausible thing to even do. So I mean, I just think, and especially where it is, you know what I mean, it's a very accessible piece in the middle of town. I mean, I don't know, that's just my thoughts as far as demoing it and keeping the land. That's, because $27,000 is a fair price, you know what I mean?
Thank you. So, you in the front row?
Yeah, so if it gets demoed, is there actually enough even footage to even put another building in that spot? Typically, you're kind of grandfathered with something there. Is that something that even could be rebuilt after it was demoed?
It would depend on who bought it and what they wanted to do.
I mean,
That's
typically it goes
nothing
by
we
road
can answer,
frontage
that's a planning board
and a
question.
home setback.
I
I
think
mean-
the total parcel was an acre,
Acre and a half.
acre and a half.
See, realistically, that wouldn't be big enough for a logging. Part two, is it doable if it was demolished to make another parking ride for the town people, possibly, where it's not usable for anything?
Like a park and ride, people
Park
park
and
there
ride,
and,
you know?
yeah.
Any further response from the select board or the manager on that? Okay, so you, sir, in the back?
Yes, another thing you gotta think about when if you're gonna sell it is where the new slab is on the new addition, underneath that's all salt sand. Was brought in for fill. And the front of the station on that new addition's all salt sand, that's why it don't freeze. So that's something else you gotta make somebody aware of.
Okay, thank you for your comment. Any further comments? You, sir?
It sounds to me like the building as it stands is not an asset, it's a liability. And I think if it's sold in place, then you've got a compliance issue, whoever buys it, if they don't make it compliant, then you've got an issue there. I think if it's not fit to be used, step one would be to demolish the building. The land is separate from that.
So I'm actually going to turn it back to you just so I can help understand where the conversation is going. Would your suggestion be then to vote down this article and have a future article to authorize the demolition? Or are you not necessarily advocating for...
I wasn't advocating either way. I was just stating my thoughts on the building.
Very good. I guess it would help, I think, maybe when people comment, just remember, so the motion on the floor is to allow the select board to sell and dispose, so I think it'd be helpful for our conversation if we can just clarify if you're for or against the motion or neither, and just want to state a neutral viewpoint. Before I circle back to folks, was there a new hand I saw raised?
This
Well, I
is
guess so, yeah,
slightly
sir.
out of the scope, but there are people and there are companies which specialize in reclaimed lumber, weathered lumber. Has the town contacted anybody to see if there'd be any interest in actually buying the lumber from that building, should it be demolished?
Most of that building, correct me if I'm wrong, we have an engineering report, but most of that building is particle board.
Oh, okay, did not.
It's all
Thank you.
molded and,
So that'd be no.
yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Sure.
You, sir, in the back?
Yeah, I got here late, but I don't know if it was discussed or not. That additional land that we got for the extension of the new addition on the station, is that deeded?
What additional land?
The new addition that we built
Yeah,
onto the station,
yeah,
that we're beyond our line.
right, but so when the addition was put on,
Yep.
there was a variance given because that addition was gonna be over the allowed amount to the property, the abutting property
The
owner.
setback.
We didn't get any extra land.
Oh, okay.
We got a variance because you were too close to the property.
Yep, thank you.
Any additional comments from the floor on the motion, which, just to repeat again, the motion is to allow the select board to sell and dispose of the old fire department property. Any additional comments? So seeing none, I'm going to close debate. The motion again is to allow the select board to sell and dispose of the old fire department property. All those in favor, please raise your hands. Okay, and all those opposed, please raise your hands. All right, I have 13 to 12, but that's a close call. Is there any interest in, or would anybody like to move to have a written ballot, or are we comfortable with the call of 13 to 12 means the motion carries? Hearing no objection to that, I'm going to call the vote. The motion carries. Is there any other business before this town meeting body? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn the town meeting.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. This meeting is adjourned.